Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. Today is going to be an instructional video on the technique of letting go. So if you have not seen my video yet on the process of letting go, how to let go, the law of vibration, letting go using this technique, please watch that video. Okay, so for those of you holding on to emotions, problems that you wish to let go of, step number one is we must identify the emotion. What is it? Sadness, anger, grief, despair, anger, sadness, fear, loss, shame, guilt. We want to identify that we are having an emotion. We want to identify that we are having something that we need to let go of. And what is it? And stop. We just stop and we become aware of what it is that you want to let go of. So it could be an emotion. It also could be a symptom, a physical symptom. Maybe you have a headache, you have pain, you have tension, you have whatever it is that's happening for you. You want to let go of this. So again, we identify and we become aware. Yes, I have a headache, I have this pulling, I have a tightening, I have a burning. So it's the emotions, it's the sensations, the feelings, the thoughts, the experience, the memories. We identify what it is that's bothering us, that we want to let go of, and we become aware that this is what we're holding on to, we're clinging to, and we just feel it. That is step number one. So before we move on to step two, I just want to clarify. A lot of people think step one is easy. Oh yeah, I got it, I can move on. Not so fast. Let's just quickly review here. Whatever you're feeling, whether it's a thought, a memory, a person, a relationship, an experience, whatever's happening with you, a sensation, whatever it is that's bothering you, that you want to let go of, it's causing you an emotion. Okay, so a thought is causing you an emotion, a feeling is causing you emotion, a memory is causing you emotion, a physical sensation is causing you an emotion. We first identify what is the problem, and then we hone in on the emotion. We need to get very quiet for this. We need to sit in stillness. Really identify what emotion that is. Feel that emotion. What does it feel like to feel that emotion? Whether it's anger or sadness or shame or guilt or grief. Really allow that emotion to be seen and felt and just sit with it. How does it feel to feel that emotion? This is what step one is all about. And if by chance that emotion is too difficult, too overwhelming to feel, and you just cannot let yourself feel it, notice it, allow that feeling to come up and just see it for what it is, then you're not actually feeling that emotion. So say it's anger or grief. Say those are coming up. And you're like, it's too terrible, I just can't let myself. Then that is not actually the feeling or the emotion that's there. There's another emotion in front of that emotion, and you're in resistance. So if you're resisting feeling the emotion, then the emotion is actually fear or resistance, right? Control. You're feeling something. You're feeling resistance and you're feeling fear to actually feel the feeling. So it gets a little tricky. So then in that case, you want to sit with the fear or you want to sit with the resistance. What does the resistance feel like? Overwhelming? What does the fear feel like? Like you're going to die? Like what? Allow that feeling to come then. Right? Because it's blocking the deeper feeling. Okay, so step number two then. The question that you want to ask now is, am I willing to allow this feeling? Am I willing to allow this emotion? That's it. I know it sounds magical, right? And you may say, if you're already tuned into it, yes, and try to move on from step two too quickly. Again, I'm going to caution you not to here. It seems easy. Am I willing to allow this emotion? Am I willing to allow to feel this emotion? Right? It's easy to say yes and move forward. Really dig a little bit here. Are you willing? And being willing means that you're willing to sit with it. It means you're not going to suppress it, repress it, deny it, distract from it, try to change it, or try to fix it, try to make it go away. Are you really willing to just sit with it as it is and allow it? Wait until you get a yes to this question, a true yes. And when you do, you will find that you've moved up the scale. So we've moved from resistance, or from sadness, or from anger, or from fear, or from guilt, or from shame, up to willingness. When we're willing, we have moved up closer to neutrality. So if you have not seen my video on the law of attraction and letting go, please go watch that. This will really make a lot more sense if you do. But once we go from resistance, from denying, from suppressing, from trying to change, fix, whatever it is that you're trying to do, we come to willingness. Yes, we're willing to allow this. When we're there, we've climbed up the vibrational, emotional scale, right? We're willing. That means, yes, it takes courage, right? We're closer. So sit with it until you're truly willing to allow it. To allow it without trying to change it or fix it or control it or distract from it or make it go away. Just to allow it to be what it is. We make friends with it. We make peace with it. We just don't try to change it or turn away from it. We allow it to be there. We breathe into it. We feel what it really feels like all over our body to feel this emotion. And you'll find it might not make the sadness go away. It might not make the anger go away. It might not make the shame or the guilt or even the physical sensations go away. But the energy behind it will dissipate. The intensity and making you so uncomfortable is this energy that needs to escape. And we keep holding, our emotions inside. We're not allowing them to be what they are, and the energy builds. So by sitting with it here in this process, by breathing into the emotion, by truly allowing it to be there without trying to change it, the energy behind that emotion will begin to dissipate. It will start to feel less intense. The intensity will go down. Stay here and watch for as long as it takes for this intensity to lower. And like I said, it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change what actually happened. It doesn't change your experience. It doesn't change the sensations. It doesn't even change the emotion, but it changes the intensity in which we are feeling it and focusing on it and resisting it. So step number 3, it's unconditional self-love and acceptance. So while you're feeling this emotion, it is important that we go inward, almost like we're going into our inner child, a child within, somebody who you can see at a distance, right? You're going in, you're taking an observer's point of view of your internal being now. You look in at this child who's wounded, who's angry or sad or filled with grief or despair, whatever it might be. And we sit with that child the way we're doing, allowing that feeling to be what it is. And we offer our love and our acceptance, right? We say basically to ourselves, to our inner child selves, I love you unconditionally. I accept you no matter what. Even though you have this emotion, even though it hurts, even though you feel this way, even though you feel broken, even though you feel like a failure, even though you feel wrong, even though you feel abandoned, even though you feel lost or confused or you don't know what to do. I love you unconditionally and no matter what. And I accept you and I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to stay with you. And I'm not going to criticize you internally or judge you or talk negatively to you. We inflict negative self-talk, like you're such a loser, you're so stupid, I hate myself. We say things that are mean, and we've got to stop that. This is a process of, I love you no matter what, even though I'm overwhelmed with what's happening. I love you. I unconditionally love and accept you, even with this emotion. And we stay with ourselves, sending kindness to ourselves and love, right? We stop the self-judgment and the critical messaging that we give ourselves, criticisms and angry self-loathing talk. And we truly love and accept ourselves the way we would if it was another child, a little child who needed us, who needed somebody to take it by the hand and say, I understand you're upset, but I still love you, and I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. You need to sit with yourself until you really believe, yeah, you stop that self-criticism, you stop that self-judgment, you stop those negative messages, and you start to replace them with loving kindness and messages of compassion and warmth to this inner child within you who needs to hear those words. Step number 4. Now that you've given yourself this unconditional love and acceptance, you want to stay with this feeling, stay with this emotion, and ask yourself the question, am I willing to let this emotion go? Am I willing to let this go? Now, this seems like a basic, simple question, and ultimately the answer is going to be yes, and you stay with it until the answer is yes. Am I willing to let this go? No matter what emotion it is, whether it's anger or grief or fear or resistance of the emotion itself, am I willing to let this go? Why is this question so important? You really want to close your eyes and go inside to ask yourself this question. We hold tightly to emotions, even the emotions we don't want, because as human beings, we are programmed to survive. And if you haven't seen my video on the survival and fight flight and how to turn off the survival response and why all of this is happening, please go and watch that video. It's very important. But humans are programmed to survive. We stay in survival. And part of that means having control, being in control of our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts, our energies, our surroundings, our environment. We have this need to control so that we might protect, self-protect, and self-persevere, and ultimately for our survival. When you're holding tightly to an emotion at a survival level, you feel it's protecting you from something. You don't even know that because it's subconscious and it's unconscious. But all negative emotions like that are there to keep you safe and are there to help you survive. So they really do have a purpose. So when we ask ourselves, are you willing to let this go? You need to ask yourself, am I really willing to let this go? Because of course you're willing to let go of anger or sadness or fear or resentment or grief or shame or guilt or whatever emotion it is. Nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody likes feeling that way. Of course you're willing to let it go. But are you really willing to let it go in its entirety? Because it's also there for a reason. It's there protecting you. It's there trying to keep you safe. And you feel you need it for a certain reason. So are you willing to let go of all those excuses that you're holding on to because of it? Are you willing to let go of the pity or the comfort that you get or the closeness that you may get or the attention or whatever it is that you're getting out of this? Are you willing to let go of the full story around it? Everything that you like to tell other people, you like to talk about this story, it gives you comfort to hear this story, your excuse, your reason, your validation. And are you willing to let go of everything that you're getting out of holding on to this emotion? Right? We always get something out of holding on to these emotions, whether we think we do or not, we do. What is it that you're getting out of it? And are you willing to let that go? Say, are we really willing to let it all go? The story, the payoff. Are we willing to let the full thing go? The next question we want to ask ourselves is when? When are we willing to let it go? You may be surprised when you ask yourself this question. Most people are going to say now. If you're truly ready to let it go, you're going to say now. If you truly, really want it to be gone, you're going to come up with the answer now. But some people are not ready to let it go now. They may say next week, tomorrow, the day after. Maybe your payoff is a little too strong yet, for you to give it up. So ask yourself, when am I willing to let this go? Am I willing to let this go now? And we wait until we get a yes. Okay, then we just sit with that question until we really do get a yes. Yes, I'm willing to move forward. I'm willing to let this go now. And the next step is, what do I want? What is it that I want to feel? What is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I truly want? Maybe you'll say to be happy, to feel successful, to feel loved, to feel accepted, to be fulfilled, to have friends, to have love, to have family, to laugh, to enjoy myself. Whatever it is, whatever the answer is, what do I want? What do I want instead of this? We need to ask ourselves that question because it's important. When we let go of something, we need to move towards something. If you're letting go of one ledge of the pool over here, you want to know that you're not going to sink to the bottom. We need to go towards something. What are we grabbing onto? So asking yourself that question is very important. And again, you want to sit with it. Sit with the stillness of this question. What is it that I want to feel? What do I want? And what does that look like? You might say happiness or love, but what does that look like? It looks like a lot of friends. It looks like family. It looks like laughing. It looks like, interests and hobbies and fun things. Like, what does it look like to you? What is that feeling you want? And what does that mean? What does it look like for you? You need to ask yourself this question. And lastly, what action can I take right now to move towards what it is that I do want? It can be a small action, it can be a super little action. But what action can I do right now in this moment to move me a little closer to what I want, to make me feel a little better, a little happier, a little more in love, a little more in alignment, a little more fulfilled, a little more whatever it is that you want. Find out what we do want and to move towards it. Remember, as you're moving towards this, you're doing this in a loving, kind, compassionate way. This is like, how can I move towards what I truly want? How can I allow myself to feel just a little bit better, to move a little closer to that happiness right here, right now? And whatever thought comes up, whatever comes up for you, you take that action with love and kindness and compassion for yourself, right? Complete unconditional love and acceptance. We want to encourage ourselves, be supportive, use kind words to ourselves. And maybe it looks something like, oh, I need to go for a little walk, or take a break, or just take this off my list, take the to-do list off, the pressure off my plate. Maybe I just need to go outside and have some fun, or take a little trip, or play with my family, right? My children, or my friends, or just watch some TV, make myself a cup of tea. What is it right now? What action can you take, little or big, that moves you closer to happiness, closer to peace, closer to love, closer to what it is that you do want? And then you take it. You take that action with a love, kindness, and compassion for yourself, and that's it. That is the process of letting go. They may seem easy, they may seem too good to be true, and you may not really fully understand them the first few times around. You have to practice this. This is a practice. I recommend doing this while you're in your room, while you have no other distractions, while you can really sit in meditative practice and ask yourself these questions and really allow the feelings and sensations and really allow yourself to be in the moment. If that is hard for you, if that is challenging and your mind is a monkey mind and you get very distracted or very caught up, recommend doing this in journal form. Again, you go in another room and you journal these questions, right? So when we're first identifying, we're writing down all the things. What is it? What is the emotion? What is the problem? What is bothering us? And we let it all out on that page, right? And then we follow the steps along. We do it in journal form. You can break this up into 5 minutes for each or 10 minutes for each if you need more time to process. And you go through and you can do this whole exercise as a journal. And when you journal, it's a free write. You're not trying to get the right words. You're not trying to worry about your sentences or your grammar or your punctuation or get your thoughts perfectly on the paper. This is free writing, fast writing. You just quickly head to hand to paper. You get it out, you get it out, you get it out. You journal, there's no right or wrong answer. When you're done this whole process, you throw it out. So you can do it in meditative solitude practice, or you can do it, like I said, in journal form. A lot of people take to journal form more. So it just depends on what works better for you. Try them both because they often give different results, and you might find that you take more to one practice than the other. Again, if you're not getting good enough results just going through these steps in a meditative sort of way, then do the journaling exercises to get through the steps. It will really make a big difference. It can make a big difference for those people who don't think it's working. So try both ways. Try them many times. Try them every time an emotion comes up that is not wanted and you're desperate to get rid of it, right? We need to do this practice of letting go. This is how you heal. This is how you let go of anything in life that is unwanted. Emotions are real, and emotions are not bad or good. They are just what they are. It's how we process them. It's how we move through them, and how we don't allow the energy to be stuck in our body and keep things in. We let it pass, we let it move, energy flows. This is how we heal, this is how we move past things. And this is how we ultimately surrender and move more freely into joy, love, peace, happiness, all the things that we really do want in this life. So I hope this video has been helpful, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe below, and I will see you in the next video.